What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best. Today, bringing you my review for episode 16 of Dragon Ball Daima. And honestly, episode was alright. It was kind of submit. I ain't gonna lie to you. The thing is, though, I said before in my previous video that I think Dragon Ball Daima I might personally enjoy more than most of Super. That obviously got a little bit of pushback, but I'm not surprised by that. People really like Super, and I kind of get it because like I love all of Dragon Ball, but you know, as somebody who like grew up with the original series from the very beginning and then up to Z and then GT and then the Super and then all the movies and everything, I have I guess a little bit of a different perspective from somebody who might have started with Z or just got into Dragon Ball like even within like the last 10 years or so. Well, honestly, you know, it's crazy. 10 years ago, that's Battle of Gods. That's really relatively recent still and modern. Well, I guess that's kind of my point. But anyway, that being said, I think for Daima standard though, this episode was just meh. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really anything too special. However, that next episode preview looked crazy. So this whole episode was basically the calm before the storm, because we just got finished having like a big battle royale kind of thing with you know, Goku and Vegeta and everybody fighting off against the King Goma's men and the military essentially. And they won, you know what I'm saying? Pansy's father showed up with his soldiers and everything, and they were able to win the battle despite the really strong laser guns that they had and everything like that. And they ultimately decided they're gonna go save Dende. And like I said, it was kind of a slower episode in comparison. It was like, you know, you got to have the wind down after the action just for it to pick back up again. And it looks like these next 4 episodes, because remember, this series is only going to be 20 episodes long, so we're wrapping up here. We've got 4 more after this. These next 4 episodes are probably going to be pretty fast paced and action heavy, and then we'll be winding down in that final episode or 2. But these next 2 episodes for sure are probably going to be pretty action packed and advance the story quite a lot. But yeah, so they decided they're going to go save Dende from Degasu. And then the Toku Sentai shows up. I forget their actual name. I probably should have committed that name to memory. But you know, the new Great Value Ginyu Force, and very much like a Great Value Ginyu Force, they get very easily disposed of by Vegeta, who's essentially toying with them because they think they're all powerful and stuff. And they're huge, by the way. I didn't realize just how big they really are. But one of them walked up to Vegeta, and I know Vegeta's like all shrunken down because he's a kid and whatnot, but he like towered over Vegeta. He was like 5'6" Vegeta. Well, not only is Vegeta a kid, but Vegeta's also just short anyway. Like even as an adult, they still would have towered over him. So I guess it's not really saying a whole lot, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I will say though, so I've been watching the episodes live. Well, obviously I missed a big chunk, but I watch these episodes live on my Twitch channel, which by the way, twitch.tv/LotusAsakura. Link is always in the description down below if you want to come through and watch with me and have a little watch party with your boy. I'll be doing that again for the remaining episodes, so 17, 18, 19, and 20. So be sure to tune in at 1 p.m. Eastern, February 7th, and then so on and so forth, the 14th and the 21st, and then, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so while we were watching this live, someone in my chat said, I wonder if that means Beerus is from the Demon Realm, you know, obviously because of the pointy ears, and also because these guys kind of look like Beerus. And to that, I would say, it seems like most beings in the Dragon Ball universe actually originated from the Demon Realm in some form or fashion. Obviously, there were some exceptions, like they said, like humans and Saiyans, those actually were not originally from the Demon Realm. That race kind of spawned after everyone like migrated from the Demon Realm to the outside world. But I mean, you know, Beerus and even Whis and the Angels, like they do have the pointy ears and everything like that. So maybe their species originated from there. I mean, they're so old, right, that they're not like a relatively new race that showed up after the fact. So probably, maybe, I don't think Beerus is related to those guys though, because his ears are a lot pointy. Beerus is a cat. His ears are a lot pointier. He has a tail. Those guys didn't have tails. Also his nose, his snout, and his face is pretty different. I see the obvious similarity because I even pointed out myself, like one of the more rotund fellows in the group, he kind of looked like Champa, but they're definitely not of the same race. It's comparable to like when we saw Dispo, but Dispo's a rabbit. Like he kind of looks like Beerus, but he's an entirely different species. But yeah, but speaking of Beerus, one of the guys ends up using a move that looks like Beerus's giant like sphere of destruction. He throws a small one, then gets a bigger one, and then the group kind of fumbles and he drops it and he burns his hand, and then yeah, that's pretty much the end of them. Vegeta makes quick work of them, disposes of them. They wrap them boys up, and then they go infiltrate the palace. I almost question what was even the point of introducing these fellas, because like they didn't contribute not a damn thing really. They didn't amount to much. They didn't, you know, it's a bit of comedic relief, I guess, but they just, you know, they were kind of useless and pointless. I ain't gonna lie. So anyway, shout out to the Gender Marie Force, as my chat points out to me, because I record these live after the episodes as well. So anyway, Vegeta blasts a hole in the wall and they infiltrate the palace, and then they're still in this big group, and then like, hey, don't we kind of stand out as a big group? I think Bulma brings it. She's like, we kind of stand out as this big group, don't we? And I'm like, I mean, does it matter at this point, especially after what y'all already just went through? Like, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. But regardless, Vegeta, Piccolo, Supreme Kai, and Goku all group up, and then they go split off from the rest of the group to move on ahead. And then as they're walking away to go track down Degasu and Dende, Pansy looks back, is like, And then she goes and follows them. And Glorio takes note of this as he also looks back and sees Pansy running after them. Again, who knows what Glorio's really up to, but more on that in a moment. Eventually, the group does end up finding Degasu and Dende, who ends up holding Dende hostage. And he does that by holding a gun to baby Dende's head. And I mean, I just feel like it's a little uncouth, just a little like tasteless, like classless. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that Degasu is not the same kind of Glin that Supreme Kai is, right? He's not a Supreme Kai. Like, the Supreme Kai, you kind of, at least to me, and maybe it's just Shin himself, but I kind of think of them as having like a certain level of like etiquette. Well, no, because like we see that with like Gowasu and how he was trying to train Zamasu and everything, right? And I get it. Degasu's not a Kai, he's a Glin, right? The Kais are not necessarily a race, it's more like a position or a status or whatever. But because it's what we've known up to this point, when I think of them, I kind of think of like having a certain level of etiquette, class, and everything like that. And then also you're just really strong anyway, and you're like this super powerful, like, you know what I'm saying? A gun just felt kind of weird. I was like, man, for one, that's just wild to do, but then also it's like, why not just a regular energy blast? Like, I'm sure you're capable of firing an energy blast that's probably more powerful than the gun anyway. It was just kind of weird to me. It was just kind of weird. I just couldn't help but point it out and think about it. I was like, it's already like crazy enough that you're using a gun, but it's just like, but wait, why? You probably don't even need to do that. You know what I mean? And then even beyond that, it's like, bro, like Goku, Vegeta, y'all can move at the speed of light. Goku can teleport. If you don't go get Dende real quick and snatch him, but of course, you know, the thing is with stuff like that, when you think critically or like look at certain series like that, the majority of the time in the majority of anime and manga, when you think about like, bro, you're this powerful or you're this character, whatever, you could just do this and have this all be over with. You could say that about so many series, and obviously that's just never how it goes down. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many situations that come up in anime or manga where it's like, this realistically shouldn't happen, all things considered, because you have this ability or this power or this character is this capable of this or that or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like, if every situation was actually solved as simply as you feel like you could come up with it in your head, where it'd be the drama and the fun and, you know what I'm saying, the build up and everything like that. But like, I feel like Goku could have just, you know what I'm saying, easily grabbed in there. He even just could have ran. You know what I'm saying? He could have ran. Like, you know how fast Goku is? Like, even, I know this isn't like super, but even bro, Kid Goku in the original Dragon Ball was so fast. He outran the solar flare that was done, I think by Tien. Was it Tien, right? And to go get the glasses off of Master Roshi in the audience. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're so far beyond, like, you know, speed is like an understatement. Whatever, man. Whatever. And I guess you could say, well, maybe Degasu is equally as fast or capable of like reacting and still, you know what I'm saying? Like, sure. I just feel like, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, that being said, out of nowhere, Pansy shows up with her little electric fly swatter, I guess, and goes to attack Degasu, but he's just like, girl, if you don't back your goofy ass, I'll blast you where you stand. And then we see what's little homie's name? Little homie name who traded the belt for the hat. We see his hat get thrown from off screen and smack Degasu in the face, and he and then throws Dende in the air, and Pansy catches Dende. Hibis, there you go. Yeah, Hibis's hat gets thrown off screen, and I'm like, are you dead ass? Like, be so for real right now. It was really goofy, and it knocks him off balance. He drops Dende, Pansy catches him, and then Piccolo gives him a sucker punch, and yeah, that's pretty much the end of Degasu, which I thought that this interaction or this altercation was going to be a little bit more dramatic or a little bit more impactful than it really ended up being. Speaking of impact, that hat couldn't have packed that much of a wallop, but regardless, I thought this was going to have a little bit more weight to it, but it didn't. By the way, Kinga was watching this all go down and thinking that Degasu might be turning on him and abandoning him, but, you know, Kinga was like over there just like freaking out back in his throne room. But yeah, like this was just like build up and lead up to the next episode. So, you know, we didn't really get too much popping off like crazy here. But yeah, Hybris and Glorio actually show up, and Glorio is the one who took Hybris's hat and threw it at Degasu. I guess he decided to follow after Pansy, and so he ended up here Don't really know why he brought Hybris along or why Hybris followed him, but I guess it worked out because hat. So after that moment, we then transition over to Kingoma in his throne room, and then we have the girl who went and actually traded the hat for the belt that had the third eye. And then she's like, hey, like Degasu asked me to grab this, but here you go. Also, I'd like to be paid. Kingoma was like, oh, hell yeah, we got the third eye. You know, we lit it, we turned up. And he's like, you know, you can go over there. Ow. And he's like, yeah, you can go over there to the treasure room and basically go grab whatever you want as your payment. She's like, hell yeah. So Goma then proceeds to try to dislodge the eye from the belt and is having a very hard time with this. And he tries like pliers and all these other different tools and even a spoon, which, by the way, how he didn't damage the eye is beyond me, because it is an eye at the end of the day. And I'm sure it's this very magical, all powerful eye, but the eye is somehow not damaged or harmed in any way from him trying to, like, you know, free it from this belt and just like jamming all these different tools in there or whatever. Because I just feel like if somebody tried to jam something into my eye socket and dislodge it from my skull, I just feel like that caused a lot of damage to the eyeball itself. But what do I know? It's not exactly Naruto where we're just plucking eyes left, right, and center for funsies. Still very wild how that works in Naruto. You can just pluck an eyeball from someone's head and just pop it into whatever. Anyway, so eventually he uses a plunger, and the plunger is able to get the eye out of the belt. You know, that's some Toriyama shit, boy. I tell you what, I just, you know, made a goat rest in peace. He gets a plunger and that frees the eye from the belt. And then the girl, whose name I can't remember, did we even get her name? I don't remember, but she's walking back through with like a backpack full of treasure, a crown, a necklace. And he's like, hey, you there? She's like, wait, you said I could take whatever I want. He's like, yeah, no, that's cool and all, but can you do me a favor and press this eye into my forehead? Which I don't really understand why he needed somebody to do that for him, why he couldn't just jam it into his own head, and why he wanted her to do it. And at first she declines, and he's like, motherfucker, I'm the king, you gonna do what I tell you to do. Also, I'll pay you 50,000 dokuro. She's like, making 100K, you got a deal. She about that bag, boy, let me tell you. And then so she agrees, and then she does it after smacking it into his forehead about 7 times. And then he goes all Pride Trooper on this. He turns into Jiren and Toppo combined. And even his outfit looks like a Pride Trooper outfit, but he obviously starts literally swelling with the power that the third eye is giving him, and he increases exponentially in size. And it's basically where the episode leaves off, with him like staring into the camera, and he's like got all this power now. By the way, funny little moment, the girl obviously runs off in terror, drops a couple of jewels on her way out, and turns around and picks them back up and then runs out. She bout that paper, you know what I'm saying? One thing about her, she gonna secure the motherfucking bag, just like me, for real, you feel me? But yeah, all in all, it was a pretty uneventful episode, I would say, for the most part. But that next episode preview looks crazy. It's everybody and their mama throwing hands. We got Goku going Super Saiyan, Tamagami in action, Majin Ku, Majin Du, you know what I'm saying, Piccolo, Vegeta, everybody's getting in on the action. Goma's obviously going to come into play at some point, and even if he don't make a grand appearance, which I think he does in the next episode, you know, he'll definitely be there in episode 18. And obviously, I guess I neglected to kind of mention it, but the gang realizes that Adensu has the final Dragon Ball. I overlooked that. That was the final actual thing of the episode, is they prepare to fight the Tamagami, and then he doesn't have the Dragon Ball, and they're like, wait, what? Where's the Dragon Ball? And then yeah, Adensu already has it, right? And she pulls up with Ku and Du, and they about to duke it out for control of the Dragon Balls, and then King Goma's obviously got his own plans in mind. So yeah, these next episodes are probably going to be pretty fast paced, I would imagine, because the series has to wrap up in just 4 episodes. And honestly, it felt to me like, I feel like this could gone on for maybe like 25 or so, but you know, I am at it. The pacing of this has been, I guess, it was slow at first, I would say, but ever since it picked up, it has been pretty quick. So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that it's going to be wrapping up soon. And then after that, man, who really knows what happens with Dragon Ball? Because I think the manga is still on hiatus. You know, eventually they want to relinquish, or at least Toriyama wanted to relinquish full control of the Toyotaro. And I would like to believe that Toyotaro is capable of continuing on, you know, the legacy in the manga for Super. And maybe one day that gets animated or we get more movies. I don't really know. But yeah, I'm still enjoying Dragon Ball Daima, even if this episode was kind of whatever. It looks like it's really going to be exciting in the next one, and then the next few should be pretty dope. And then episode 20 is probably going to be very calm, and then, you know, just the resolution and the sign off and everything like that. But that was episode 16. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all the awesome content I plan on bringing you. But all that being said, that's pretty much all I have for today. And remember, nothing can happen until you swing the bat. Later.